If you're doing a late night school report, researching a topic you like, listening to music, answering mails, or just simply playing video games, you need a PC.
Greetings, my name is Mate and today I'll help you build your very own personal computer. During this video, I will show you the basic steps to building a computer. Firstly, before buying anything, check on the internet for part compatibility, because not all parts are compatible, and also check if your power supply is strong enough to power your build. A good site for this is PC Part Picker, and the link to it will be located down in the description. During this video, you'll probably notice that most of my parts differ from yours. My CPU is from Intel while yours may be from AMD. This is okay, because the installation process for both is the same. This counts for all the components in a computer. Some components may have slight differences during installation, so make sure to keep their instructions, just in case. Okay, so, at first, when you look at all your parts, it may seem a bit confusing, but in reality, building a computer is just like playing with Legos. So first off, we'll start with the motherboard, the backbone of a computer. You know, the thing that connects everything together and allows components to communicate with each other. Take it out and lay it on a softer surface, such as a towel or a plastic wrap, so you don't scratch the back. Now, take your CPU out of the box. Take it by the sides and be very careful not to touch the pins, as if they were to bend or break, the CPU would stop working. To install the CPU, you have to unlatch the CPU socket and expose the contact pins. Next, locate a small triangle in the corner of your CPU and find the same triangle in the corner of the CPU socket. Line up these triangles and gently place the CPU into its place. Don't force it in, just let it drop in, and make sure it's firmly stuck in the socket. Next, just close the latch and lock the CPU in place. Now, you usually install the CPU cooler, but my cooler needs to be connected to a backplate in the computer case, so I'll do that step later. Now it's time to put in some random access memory. To install RAM in your motherboard, you need to locate the RAM socket and unlock the latches. The socket will have a small break in its line. Match this with the hole in the RAM stick and just simply push it in until the latches click in place. If you have multiple sticks, check your motherboard instructions to see in which order they should be put in to maximize speed. Next, you'll want to install your optical drive and your hard disk drive. Every computer case has a specific place for your drives to be installed. In my case, there is a small opening in the front panel for my optical drive. I just slide it in place and I'm done. Some cases require screwing in the parts and some don't. The installation of my hard drive is pretty much the same, only in a different place. It all depends on your case, so you should check your case instructions. Now, you'll put in the power supply unit. The PSU is the component which converts the alternating current from your home outlet into direct current and sends it to your components. It also controls the voltage of your current to prevent overheating. Each computer case has a specific place for the PSU, and all you need to do is slide it in and screw it in tightly. Try and find an opening near the corners of the back of your case that look like a box and just screw it in. Remember, the power outlet should point outwards. The next step is to put your motherboard inside the PC case. You locate some holes in your case, which will correlate with the holes on your motherboard. This is where you need to place it. Sometimes you'll need to put standoffs in the holes, so check your instructions for that. Now, you need to put in the I/O shield. Its only purpose is to keep dust out of your PC. Push it in firmly in the I/O slot and make sure it won't pop out. This one might require some elbow grease to stay in properly. After that, just lay the motherboard into the case so that the standoffs or holes match the motherboard's holes and screw the motherboard in. Make sure the motherboard's I/O enters the I/O shield properly. Now, you need to put something to cool down your computer. You can use fans, liquid cooling, or certain cooling pastes. Fans are the most common and simple. Every case has a specific slot for fans, so your fan placement will most likely vary from mine. To optimize fan efficiency, check your PC case instructions to see where to put them. To install your fan, just place it in the correct spot and screw it in. You also must take care of in which direction the fan blows in. You need to make sure to even out the airflow in your PC or else you'll create a vacuum. This depends solely on your case, but the main idea is to have cold air from your room sent into your PC and hot air from your PC to be pushed out on the other side. If you're unsure how to do this, just check the fan instructions. The CPU is responsible for all of the computer's processes, similar to what a brain does. During these processes, the CPU tends to get way more hot than other components, and thus requires a dedicated cooler. CPU coolers have a large variety. Some are fan-based and some are liquid-based. The most common CPU coolers are fan-based. They work in such a way that a heatsink takes the heat off the CPU while the fan blows air into it to disperse that heat. Usually, before attaching the cooler, we need to apply thermal paste to maximize the heat transfer between the CPU and the cooler. I won't be doing it now because this PC won't be used, but if you need to put it in, just put a drop the size of a grain of rice on top of the CPU and put the cooler on top. The paste will spread. Now you'll install your graphics card. The Graphics Processing Unit, or GPU, is a computer component designed to do rapid mathematical calculations which allow the computer to render 2D and 3D images. You'll have to locate the PCI lane on your motherboard. Then you'll need to remove the protective barrier behind the PCI slot. Now, open the latch on the PCI slot. Next, just take your GPU and insert it into the PCI slot, while the back, which has the output socket, goes where you remove the protective barrier. The latch should close when you properly put the GPU in. Don't force it in. If it isn't getting in, double check if you're pushing the right way. Now just screw the GPU in where you unscrewed the protective shields. If you're unsure how to do this, just check the instructions. Now, the only thing left for you to do is to connect everything together. Take the cables coming out of your front panel. They're cables for the power, reset, USBs, etc. Just look at what it says on the cable and look how many pins it needs. For example, the USB cable says USB and it requires 9 pins. Then it will connect to the socket which says USB and has 9 pins. If you're unsure where it should go or you just don't feel like looking for it, check your motherboard instructions and it will provide you with answers. Next, just plug in the fan and the CPU cooler into the motherboard with their cables using the same process. Now, take the SATA cables and plug one side into your hard drive or CD-ROM and the other side onto the motherboard in the SATA sockets. The hard drive cable goes into the lowest number SATA socket, while the CD-ROM goes in the one next in line. So, if you have SATA sockets 1, 2, and 3, hard drive goes into SATA 1 while CD-ROM goes into SATA 2. Now, it's time to power everything up. Take the cables from the PSU and start plugging them in. Just use the name and pin method for finding the power sockets for all the components, and like always, if you're unsure, check in the instructions. Lastly, if you have any sound cards, just plug them in into their socket on the motherboard. Now, just close up your case, and there, you're done! Congratulations! Just plug it in and it's ready to go. What did I tell you? Just like playing with Legos. I hope you liked this basic tutorial on building computers, and if you need any help, feel free to ask in the comments.